Welcome to episode 33 of Everything Sports with Aman. I'm your host, Aman Adkarni, and I'm going to be talking about the hottest topics in sports over the course of the past week. And in today's episode, it is going to be NFL themed. I've decided to make predictions for the NFL awards and my predictions for them, and the NFL playoff predictions. And without further ado, let's get it started. First, I'm going to talk about my NFL playoff predictions. I will admit there's a couple of upsets, and I don't think you guys are expecting some of the teams I chose, to be honest with you. But it's just predictions. I feel good about my predictions, especially the NFL awards. But obviously, the NFL awards will be towards the end of the episode, as in the second half of the episode. And without further ado, let's get it started. We will start in the AFC, and I sort of did a game by game breakdown of NFL Super Wildcard Weekend in my last episode. So if you haven't, make sure to tune in to episode 32 and then resume this episode, because I'm still going to do a breakdown of each game and my predictions over here, but there's a more in-depth breakdown in episode 32. If you watched episode 32, then continue listening right here. So without further ado, in the AFC, obviously the Tennessee Titans got the 1 seed. They will have the bye on the AFC side. So Chiefs versus Steelers. Like I said last episode, I think every team has a chance of making the Super Bowl, like a legit shot, other than the Steelers and Eagles, not just because they're the lowest seed. Crazier things have happened, like the Giants beating Brady in the 16-0 year. The Giants were the sixth seed because there were only six playoff teams at the time. The Giants were 8-8 at the time, so you never know what could happen. So these are just predictions. I'm predicting the Chiefs will win. And first of all, let's go down the list, because then you will understand what I'm talking about. Honestly, Eagles and Steelers have a chance of making the Super Bowl. We've seen crazier things happen. But when I say each team has a shot at making the Super Bowl, I mean it. The Titans struggled when Derrick Henry went down. The Chiefs, they had a lot of early season struggles. The Steelers, it seems like they've been struggling all season long. The Bills slipped towards the end of the season. The Patriots, after their winning streak, started losing some games. The Bengals lost quite a bit of games after their amazing start. The Raiders, so much drama surrounding their team, and they actually stayed on course. The Packers, the Aaron Rodgers situation, they're not distracted by that. The Buccaneers, they struggled a lot, and now with this Antonio Brown drama as well. The Philadelphia Eagles are the Philadelphia Eagles. The Dallas Cowboys, when they lost, it was pretty embarrassing losses. The 49ers had to overcome an early season losing streak. The LA Rams struggled in the second half of the season, and so did the Arizona Cardinals. So each of these teams all have a shot of getting eliminated and all have a shot of making it to the Super Bowl. So now enough of that. Chiefs, Steelers, I believe no upset will happen here, because I feel like Big Ben's been so inconsistent over the course of the season that I don't see them pulling off a massive upset against the Chiefs. Excuse me. And it's not just because it's the Chiefs. They're defending Super Bowl. They're not defending Super Bowl champions. The Buccaneers are. It's not that the Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl the past two seasons. I just think that when it comes to playoff time, the Chiefs just have way too much firepower. And I feel like they're lucky that their struggles happened early in the season, because they had those many weeks to correct them. And so now, the Bills Patriots. I was going up in the air, but the Buffalo Bills. I really feel like the Bills can make it to an AFC Championship game, and you will see why. The Bills Patriots, I believe they split the season series at one apiece. Yep. So I feel like the Bills are going to beat the Patriots in this pretty much divisional matchup. The Bengals Raiders. I believe the Raiders will upset the Bengals. I feel like that because Derek Carr, yeah, there's a lack of experience in the playoffs and there's so much surrounding this Raiders team. But over the course of this season, the Raiders have been in so many clutch situations. There's always been one result at the Raiders. They've won all of those clutch games. Like Derek Carr, even though it's hard to admit for some people, Derek Carr is actually that guy. And he has ice water in his veins. And he is a clutch quarterback. I honestly don't think many people can deny that statement after what we saw this past season. And I feel like the Raiders are the biggest dark horse team in this playoffs right now. I'm not picking them to win it all, but I'm saying don't be surprised if they do, because in clutch situations, Derek Carr always shows up. And with that, that leaves the Titans playing the Raiders. I think it'll be an amazing matchup, but I'm picking the Titans to go all the way to the Super Bowl for one reason and one reason only. King Henry is back in the lineup. So, Chiefs Bills. I think the Bills finally beat the Chiefs. And I think Josh Allen, through all these weather games that he's played, he's honestly struggled. But I think he's going to get over it, and the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs because even though the Chiefs had their early season struggles and had time to figure it out, I think this time Josh Allen is going to step it up. So, Titans Bills, like I said, I don't think any team will have an answer for Derrick Henry. The guy was like third in rushing in the league for a while, even though he missed like half a season. Think about that. He has his monster step arm. Derrick Henry was on pace for like a 2,400, 2,500 rushing season. You know how insane that is? That is crazy. And now, so on the AFC side, I'm choosing the Tennessee Titans to make the Super Bowl. And now we go to the NFC side, where the Packers have the bye for being the top team in the NFC. Buccaneers, Eagles. I do think the Buccaneers will beat the Eagles pretty easily, actually. I think this will be the biggest blowout in the playoffs. And the Cowboys, Niners. The Niners are frankly at their best because when they needed to win every game, they won every game. And they were down 17 against a not really red hot, but a really good LA Rams team. And what did the Niners do? They beat the LA Rams in overtime. Their defense came up huge. Their offense, out of anything, came up huge when it counted the most. And now, I am choosing the Niners to upset the Cowboys. And actually, along with the Raiders, the Niners are also a dark horse team. So, the Niners are the dark horse team of the NFC, while the Raiders are the dark horse team of the AFC. What I mean by that is, you never know. It could be a Raiders-Niners Super Bowl. I'm not picking it to happen, but don't be surprised if it does, because when these two dark horse teams are at their best, frankly, nobody can stop them. Because if the Raiders get it into clutch time during the fourth quarter and push it to an overtime, the Raiders are winning every single one of those games. And when the Niners are at their best, nobody can compete with them. The Rams Cardinals, I feel like the Cardinals did an amazing job this season. Cliff Kingsbury is a candidate for Coach of the Year, but I'm still choosing the LA Rams. So that leaves us with the Packers versus 49ers and Buccaneers versus LA Rams. I actually was tossing this matchup back and forth with the Niners Packers, but I'm choosing the Packers because Aaron Rodgers had like 37, 38 seconds left in the game, and he pushed the Packers in the field goal range for the win against these Niners. And yes, when the Niners are at their best, nobody can stop them. But Aaron Rodgers is that guy in the clutch. Everyone knows that. So the I don't think the Packers are gonna wreck the Niners. I feel like it's gonna be a one-score game at the end of regulation when it's all said and done. If it goes into overtime, I think the Packers are still gonna win. The Buccaneers Rams, I think we're gonna get the Buccaneers over the Rams, and the rematch of last year's NFC Championship, the Packers Buccaneers. And I do think the Packers finally get revenge over Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think it's going to be a Packers Titans Super Bowl. And yes, I went the safe route by picking both number one seeds. And frankly, the Bills could beat the Titans, but I think Derrick Henry is going to dominate throughout the AFC playoffs. And like I said, there is no completely overpowered team this year in the NFL. And that's what makes these predictions fun. Like, if you guys still haven't made your predictions, you should, because it's honestly fun choosing. Because it's such a wide open pool of teams this year. And it's not a completely overpowered team. So Titans Packers, I do think the Packers win the Super Bowl. I do think Aaron Rodgers will not leave Green Bay, and if he doesn't play next season, I think it's because he's retiring. Yes, I said that. He's either retiring or staying with Green Bay after this season, because I think the Green Bay Packers will beat the Tennessee Titans this year's Super Bowl. And like I said, yes, I picked both number one teams, but you have to look at the Rams Cardinals. I feel like a lot of people are expecting the Cardinals to come out over the top. The Buccaneers Eagles is probably the most common pick in this year's playoffs, other than the Chiefs Steelers. But the 49ers versus Cowboys, I'm firmly on the Niners side, not just because I live in the Bay Area. I'm actually a Carolina Panthers fan. 49ers, I feel like that defense is going to be suffocating. I feel like the offensive line will play much better because honestly, they need to with Micah Parsons, Trevon Diggs, even throw DeMarcus Lawrence in there. Like, I think the Niners will come over the top. And the Bills Patriots are that underdog that some people are choosing, but I think the Bills beat them. I don't think people are high on the Raiders to make it out of the first round, but I honestly really feel like Derek Carr is that guy, and he's proved it this season. He is a clutch quarterback. He is that guy. But that ends my Super Bowl or NFL playoff predictions. And now we will head to the NFL awards predictions segment of this episode. And you guys will know because I will put the timestamps in the description, because I put a stopwatch next on my other screen so I know how long this episode is. So, NFL player awards predictions. I guess NFL award predictions. It's going to be, I'm predicting the MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, and Coach of the Year. So I feel like most of you want to see my MVP predictions first. I think Aaron Rodgers gets it 2 years in a row. And yes, Tom Brady's thrown for like some absurd, absolutely absurd, like 5,300 yards without his top receivers. But Aaron Rodgers was without his top receivers, and he still got the first seed in the NFC. So I think that's saying something about Rodgers more than it does about Brady. Oh, I think Aaron Rodgers definitely gets MVP 2 years in a row. Offensive player of the year, you could give it to Brady in this situation, but I honestly feel like Jonathan Taylor deserves it. Even though the Colts, I don't know how, but they couldn't beat the Jaguars to make it into the playoffs. Jonathan Taylor got 18 touchdowns. That's a touchdown a game. And then 18, 11 yards total. You divide that by 17 and you get 106.5 yards. Let's round up to 107 yards and one touchdown a game for a running back. Jonathan Taylor, I feel like, should be Offensive Player of the Year. And now, TJ Watt is my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. Aaron Donald robbed him, honestly, last year, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. Like, Aaron Donald is that guy, don't get me wrong. But TJ Watt honestly played better than him last season. TJ Watt even missed some games this season. He would have shattered Michael Strahan's sack record. He would have shattered it. Like, he probably would have gotten like maybe 27, 30 sacks if he played all games. That's how crazy it was. Yes, people are saying Micah Parsons. And yes, he is a rookie. And for a rookie, he's gotten insane stats. But I think TJ Watt, for tying Michael Strahan's sack record, which many thought was untouchable, that's definitely Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, there's a question between Mac Jones and Jamar Chase. I feel like Jamar Chase is already one of the best receivers in the NFL. And I know it seems weird to mention a rookie being already the best at his position, but that's exactly what I'm doing. Jamar Chase has been one of the best receivers in the NFL. 14 55 yards, 13 touchdowns. Him and Joe Burrow are clearly the reason why, and Zach Taylor, their head coach, are clearly the reason why they got the AFC North title and a playoff berth. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have that LSU connection, but I mean, pretty insane what they're doing in Cincinnati at an NFL level. Micah Parsons, Defensive Rookie of the Year. There's absolutely no question about that. 13 sacks, three forced fumbles, 20 tackles for losses. Like, Micah Parsons was a man on a mission, along with Trevon Diggs. Trevon Diggs is an interesting candidate because he's gotten so many interceptions, but he's also allowed so many yards. Like, honestly, I don't think that's really Defensive Player of the Year conversation per se, but I can understand that, honestly. Most Improved Player, Joe Burrow, 4,611 yards, 14 interceptions, 34 touchdowns. He's absolutely exploded over the course of this year under Zach Taylor, who is my coach of the year. 10-7, AFC North title. Like I said, him, Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase are the reason why the Bengals have done as well as they did. But it's pretty crazy to see these Bengals. But I think it's their first year. It's a young team. Great head coach, but Joe Burrow's first playoff, obviously Jamar Chase's first playoffs. I think it's going to be a great learning lesson for them, which is why I'm choosing the Raiders over the Bengals. But that doesn't take away from the job that Zach Taylor's done with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. That's my take on it. I do think the Raiders will beat the Bengals. So those are my predictions for the NFL playoffs and NFL awards. I will be back Monday for episode 34, and we will see what happens this wild card weekend. And there will be Monday games. I just realized that. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to NFL wildcard weekend. It's going to be a great weekend. Make sure to watch football, even basketball, because basketball news will probably return Monday, Friday. So this is my second episode of the week. Get used to the new schedule because me and Evan Garber soon, twice a week. It's going to be a great week. Mondays, Fridays, one episode at the start of the week on Monday, one episode at the end of the week on Friday. Have a great weekend. I will see you guys on Monday.